It's Gen 4 time, everybody! While I think this generation had some of the most derpy and Pokemon I couldn't care less about more than any other generation, it also had some really great ones that I continue to use to this very day in my battles. Mainly because most of them were enhancements from previous games. If you want the rules, go see the Cane Tool list because it's time to start it off! Oh, I don't know who to choose! The Boyzil line or Darkrai? Boyzil line or Darkrai? Oh, I'll just go with Gallade. Gallade is what happens when Corellia meets a Dawnstone in Gen 4 and onwards. Gallade is a psychic fighting type whose best stats are attack and special defense, and its ability Steadfast raises its speed whenever it flinches in battles. Gallade's appearance echoes, "Bring it on!" when it enters the battle. Its head looks like it has a Roman gladiator helmet, and it has blades on its arms that allow it to use Night Slash, and is one of the two non-grass types to learn Leaf Blade. He, and yes, I said he, since only male Corellias can become this for unknown reasons, only has a weakness of Ghost and Flying types, but it can learn Stone Edge in the aforementioned Night Slash and Shadow Sneak to deal with those guys. Gallade has all its bases covered, and it just barely made my list. It's the Fairy of Willpower, or the Pixie of Willpower, or the Gnome. Hey, whatever it's representing, Azelf is the fastest and strongest of the emotion trio in the Sinnoh region. Its attack, special attack, and speed are incredible, and it has a great deal of moves. But mine always comes up as either Psychic, Extrasensory, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, Nasty Plot, or Thunderbolt. I wish it would have a fighting special attack like Focus Blast so it has something against Dark and Steel types, but what are you gonna do? Besides trying to get one with a hidden power of fighting. Uxie was a nice defense wall and Mesprit was a pain to catch in Gen 4, but Azelf fit my battle style of fast and powerful better than the other two pieces of the Pokemon Triforce. Togepi, Togetic, you guys disappoint me. Poor stats and poor move pools. I feel that the only reason people trained you in Generation 2 was because of the anime. Once I found out for myself just how lackluster you guys were, I demanded an apology for all that time you got in the spotlight. Apology accepted. Togekiss has to be the greatest normal flying type out there. Amazing special attack and special defense, the widest selection of different type moves for its typing to know, and its second and Dreamwheel abilities are great. Plus, look at its great special attacks. Air Slash, Shadow Ball, Flamethrower, and it can even learn Aura Sphere, a powerful never worry about accuracy move that takes care of Rock, Ice, and Steel types, two of its biggest weaknesses, and has something against Steel types that won't cripple it. Plus, it can learn Thunder Wave to cancel its low speed, and with Serene Grace, Air Slash barely gives your opponent a chance to move. Oh yeah, you've been there and you hate it, don't you, because you're powerless against me! You were worth waiting 2 generations to get, Togekiss. Blaziken was so well loved in Generation 3 that they decided to do it again, but this time focus more on the speed, and thus, we have Infernape. Infernape has great attack and special attack, and as of Gen 5, it is the fastest fire type so far. Given the fact that it can also use close combat makes it a Pokemon you have to be very careful when opposing. Like Blaziken, this Pokemon has a wide range of moves such as using Earthquake, Stone Edge, Shadow Claw, Acrobatics, and Poison Jab. Plus, it can learn Mach Punch, giving it a speed priority move with a stab bonus. I won't use the Monkey Punch, I won't use the Monkey Punch, I won't use the Monkey Punch. Get me to the next entry before a punch slips! So they started doing those cute little legendaries without being forced to be a psychic type, huh? Interesting. Manaphy could be obtained either through a special event in the Pokemon Ranger game that could then transfer an egg to Gen 4 and have it hatch into Manaphy, or by specific and special downloadable events like Toys R Us, Nintendo World, or in my case, E4All 2007. Manaphy has the same stats as the tiny legendaries that came before it, and along with learning Surf, Ice Beam, and Energy Ball, it can have Tail Glow. That's right, in one turn it can raise its special attack by 3 stages. Bet you want one now, don't ya? Manaphy is the only legendary Pokemon that can breed, but its offspring will never become a Manaphy. It also wins the award for most useless signature move, Heart Swap. I'll stick with wiping out your Pokemon in 1 turn, thanks. You either love it, think it's overrated, wish Mewtwo was in Brawl instead of it, neutral with it, or hate it. Wait, where was I going with this? Okay, yeah, I like Lucario. Enough to train quite a number of them actually, and Lucario got me through Black 2 with very few problems, and was my highest level Pokemon when I beat the Elite Foreign Champion. Its attack and special attack are equally amazing, so whichever stat you want to focus on gives you a great deal of moves to give it. I usually train specials, but if I did physical attacks, I could teach a Close Combat, Iron Head, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Poison Jab, and or extreme speed. On the opposite side, you have the double team fearing Aura Sphere, so I like it more already. Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, and Dragon Pulse. Lucarios don't have a good speed stat, or even a decent defense of any kind, but it is a Pokemon that can be just about whatever you want it to be. Plus, Lucario is one of my 3 favorite characters I enjoy playing as in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I love how it does more damage when it's taking damage. Yeah, there's a limit, but I love it when it can actually do that. Plus, its aura has great range. I really hope it doesn't get the boot when Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and Wii U comes out, even though it probably will.
4th place.
Freaking yes! Eevee finally got a grass form! Yeah, if you haven't picked it up by now, grass is my favorite type. Leafeon is about as overpowered as a grass type can get in Generation 4. Its attack, defense, and speed are better than they really should be. Normally, I see a Pokemon that has great attack and speed, which leaves them open to big hits, but somehow Leafeon was able to get away with having a great defense to match the other 2. And in fact, it's actually better than the other 2. Yeah, its special defense is terrible, but it needs to be, otherwise it would be really broken. I think the design is a little lazy though. Yeah, I know its name is Leafeon, and it has about 4 giant leaves, but couldn't you do something else, like put some vines around it? I mean, it just looks so generic. Well, I hope I get some new moves in X and Y. Yes, Leaf Blade is great, and it can learn X Scissor, Dig, Aerial Ace, and Swords Dance, but I still hope I can get a new fighting move or something. Well, looking back on those stats, if they did that, then it would be really overpowered. Gen 4 was no stranger to giving older Pokemon new forms. Heck, you've already seen 3 of them on my list, and here's another one. Electivire has the highest attack power of any non-legendary electric type. Its move pool is so diverse that caution is a top priority when facing it. Wild Charge, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Cross Chop, and Earthquake are its best attacks, and can cover just about everything it goes up against. Its best stats are attack and a tie between special attack and speed. Plus, its regular ability, Motor Drive, neutralizes electric attacks and raises its speed, so it's a great switcher. On a side note, Electivire is the first Pokemon I trained from a level 1 hatched egg to level 100 without using rare candies. In one day. Too bad it became another Pokemon you had to trade in order to get, but it was worth it if you wanted this handy-dandy destroyer on your team.
2nd place.
When I first saw Electivire from the early announcements of Diamond and Pearl, I just had to say,
Oh, you're giving Electabuzz an upgrade, huh? Well, what about Magmar? It deserves one too. And it got one, and I'm glad. So it looks like it put on 100 pounds, lost its beak-like mouth, and its speed is actually lower than Magmar's, but for the upgrades it more than makes up for them. First is that its arms turn into cannons. That should be self-explanatory on how cool that is, so let's move on. Its special attack has greatly increased, so now it's the strongest stat it has, and its special defense and attack are tied for the other best stat. And now it can learn Thunderbolt and Solar Beam, giving it great attacks against its biggest weaknesses of water, rock, and ground types. It can still learn Psychic as well as Focus Blast to give it some more well-rounded arsenal of attacks. Its defenses are still pretty low, but you can teach it Will-O-Wisp to inflict a burn on the target to reduce their attack power by half. I don't like the fact that you've let yourself go there, old buddy, but as long as you're using it to store lots of power in your belly, I won't complain that much. I bet he's gonna have Torterra or Shaman as his favorite based on the other lists. Man, it's like you guys don't know me at all. I don't like training Torterras. They're slow, have a horrible special defense, and if hit by an ice attack, it's a goner.
and I haven't trained enough Shamans to really get to know them.
So what can I have as my favorite 4th gen Pokemon? Simply put, your worst nightmare. It's a land hammerhead shark jet with fangs over its body. Yeah, you're screwed. I would nickname it that, but it's too long to fit. Garchomps have incredibly high attack power, and when you match that with its nimble speed stats, you're looking at a Pokemon that has been banned multiple times in tournaments. If I remember that correctly. The most popular moveset to give Garchomp was Swords Dance and Outrage, and that was all you needed. That would take out nearly any Pokemon in just about 1 or 2 turns. Any defense wall Pokemon would crumble when going up against this beast. In fact, that's how it cleared the battle hall for me in Pokemon Platinum, and was the only one to do it. If someone uses a Steel type, then I've got Earthquake to take care of them, and Fire Fang for dealing with levitating Steel types, as well as Scizors, Fortresses, and Shedinjets. However, I don't like the confusion after using Outrage and being forced to use the move 2 to 3 times in a row, so now I use Dual Chomp as a way to deal with substitutes, Focus Band, and Sturdy. Can't blame them. I use Focus Band for my Garchomp so it can survive ice attacks. If you ever battle me and I don't have Garchomp in my team, consider yourself lucky.
And that's it for this list, and if you've got a difference of opinion, I would love to hear which 10 Sinnoh 4th generation Pokemon are your favorites. It's a Dragon Jet Shark Pokemon. What did you think, it was gonna tickle?
Just so we are still on the same page, there's the Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn list in case you missed them or are new to my videos. And sadly, I don't have a video plug this time, but if you'd like, there's a link to the new Super Luigi U review, so yeah, there you go. And with that, I'll take my leave. Later, everyone!